سي. ايوه سي. هلا.
Yes. Hello. Yes. Mic test. Good.
تيست مايك. ماوس مش شغال. تيست مايك. هل صوت واطي؟ تيست مايك. تيست مايك. ماشي مفيش مشكلة. فاهم.
أعزائنا الحضور، رجاء التواجد في صالة الاجتماع لاستئناف الورشة. خلينا نقدم هذا. نستأنف الورشة بالقوانين واللوائح التشريعية مع السيد جوزيفينو أبلانغ، فليتفضل.
Waste management. Why? Because the more materials we generate, the more materials we consume, then the more waste we generate. For example, in 2020, 2 billion metric tons of municipal solid waste were generated, and by 2060, it is expected to increase by 70%. In Saudi Arabia, we generate, by average, annual average, 110 million metric tons of solid waste. Per capita, it's 1.75 kilogram per capita per day. So we have to remember these numbers because it will help us design the policies for waste management. Here in Saudi Arabia, I'm included, we are heavy users of disposables. Plastics. Where do these plastics go? They go to landfills. And here in Saudi Arabia, recycling is still limited. We have to accept that. Now, landfills are not designed to be sustainable. Maybe municipalities are thinking about that now. But right now, the current situation is landfills are not sustainable. After the landfills are full, the land cannot be used for other purposes. So with this background, there really is a high demand. There's an urgent need to have a more resource-efficient and a circular economy. So the Saudi government is keen to this one. The Saudi government is aware of that. That's why in 2020, during the G20, King Salman launched the National Circular Carbon Economy. It aims to reduce emissions, to use renewable energies. And notable initiatives are the Saudi Green Initiative and the circular carbon economy. Okay, now we have the national circular carbon economy. We clap our hands, we congratulate ourselves, we pat the back of our colleagues. But it doesn't end there. As our colleagues Nicola and Filippo were saying, we have to do our responsibility. This is our responsibility. So, for some of the projects we have done before, they have put in front of them the national vision of net zero by 2060. Why? This is a guideline for them. This is their target. So, corporates, governments, private entities, employees, managers, and even citizens should contribute to this national vision. It doesn't end with just having a national circular carbon economy as a concept. We have to translate it into specific action plans. Some of the policies on circular economy in Saudi Arabia is the landfill diversion. So as we have said, once we have this understanding that waste is a valuable asset rather than an endpoint, that's where circular economy becomes a reality. Circular economy might be a concept right now, but we have to make it as a reality. And that is to have these policies. Number one would be the landfill. The existence of landfill means the garbage, the waste, is at their endpoint. Circular economy, as Dr. Hasmi was explaining a while ago, you know, the butterfly system is not linear. It's circular. Okay. Basically circular. So it goes around, it's recycling, reusing, and minimizing waste. So if everything goes to the landfill, it's, in Arabic, I think it's kalas, endpoint. No, it should not end in landfill. So Saudi Arabia, by 2035, is targeting to remove landfills to stop landfills by 82%. Of course, MAWAN, the National Center for Waste Management, has a 2040 plan already, which will be in the next slide. Of course, recycling and composting is a very important part of circular economy. So the country investing in recycling infrastructures. So this would be the technologies which will be expounded or be explained in detail by our colleagues in the next sessions. Waste to energy. So anything that is non-recyclable should be addressed. So recycling would be the recyclable items. Non-recyclable items, the waste energy is there to address that issue. And the CIRC, Saudi Investment Recycling Company, is in charge of that. Okay, this public awareness. Again, I caught some words during the speech of our honoraries and also with Dr. Hasmi and our colleagues here. Public awareness is very, very important. It's not just the government. It should be up to the citizen. Government, ministries, regions, municipalities, schools, other stakeholders, many players. And people need to be educated. I remember whenever we go to site visits, we stay in accommodation camps. And of course, after a meal, I see bins. After we eat, there's recyclable and then non-recyclable. What I see is everything is put. Nobody knows how to segregate their waste. They put everything wherever has space, whether it's in the recyclable or in the non-recyclable. In malls, also in Riyadh, I see a recyclable, non-recyclable, organics. In the organics, I see plastics. In the plastics, I see food. So education is very important here. And of course, the government is also encouraging local and foreign investors to invest in waste management sector, especially in waste treatment facilities. So we already have waste management programs initiated, and these, accordingly, as Dr. Hasmi has mentioned, are aligned with the SDGs. And some of our aspirations in Saudi Arabia is waste reduction per capita. We have maximizing the value recovered by waste. So once we see the value of waste not as an endpoint, but as an asset, a valuable asset, that's where we realize the waste management. And also simulating innovations. We're in the digital area now. We have to capitalize on that. So we will see smart bins. We will see material digital passports. So this is from government. This is government information. These are the aspirations. See, waste reduction, maximizing the value recovered from waste, and simulating innovations. In order for a national strategy to be effective, we need to have KPIs. Of course, in your organizations, there should always be KPIs to evaluate your performance and to measure performance. Otherwise, it will just be a broad concept. Nothing will happen. So here, some of the KPIs is to reduce per capita waste by 3%. So right now, for our source is 1.75 kilogram per capita per day. So the Saudi government wants to reduce that by 3% by 2040. For effective waste collection, 91% waste segregation of source. This is actually one of the challenges right now. Garbage just thrown collectively without segregating. One of the best practices is to segregate at the source. So this is one of the policies, one of the aims, one of the ambitions of the government, so that the program would become effective, it become clear, and it will help in the implementation. Okay, 90% by 2040. In the other slide, it says 82% by 2035. Now, if you see in the MOAN website, you will see this one, 90% by 2040. It's a very ambitious target, but it would be achievable if everybody helps, not just the government. And by 2040, also 79% of waste destined to would be destined for recycling. So others would be minimizing the negative impact. So let's take one. 100% random landfills and official landfills to be closed. 25% of waste to energy conversion. And also shifting towards integrated data-driven sector. Data is very important. Okay, we have the national strategy, but we have to have data, good data, specific data. Okay, the MEWA is going to implement the circular economy. It's being, who's helping them? The MOAN. Now, MOAN needs data. How can we start with an action plan without any specific numbers? So where do MOAN will get the data? Maybe the municipalities can help. Municipalities is too broad. We can have Riyadh, we have Dammam, we have Ha'il, we have other. So maybe we can start with a waste inventory. We start from the municipal level. So we need data. And now, one of the programs ambitions is to capitalize on digitization, which is to use projects or to use IoT things or Internet of Things, technologies to gather data. Okay, so let's go to some examples. Actually, some were already mentioned by our friend Nicola and Filippo. These are some of the countries which are implementing effective waste management programs. Foremost, of course, is the European Union, already mentioned by our guys here. So, eco-design, single-use plastics directive, digital product passport. See, it's about having a product from its design, gathering all the elements from its process up to the end point option. So this will help in the implementation of programs. Of course, we'll go to Japan. They have the eco-industrial park, which Dr. Hasby mentioned, the eco park. In eco parks are very effective in circular economy, implementing circular economy. It's one of the most efficient models. So in an eco park, it's just like a complex. So everybody is helping each other implement their circular. For example, the waste of one company is the product of another. The space, the circular economy is not just about waste, it can be about service. So instead of buying products, you utilize the service of others. That means you reduce production. So the service of one company can be utilized by others. The space of other company can be rented by others. So it means no production, no manufacturing, and that stops the waste. South Korea, South Korea, one of their priority challenge, we'll call it priority challenge, is food. They have a lot of food waste. So the government focus on food waste, how to manage them. Of course, in Canada, they have the zero plastic waste. Now, let's be more specific. In Netherlands, they have the recycling rate of over 55% of municipal waste. They have this circular Netherlands by 2050. What is this one? By 2050, Netherlands targets to reduce the use of raw materials. Instead, they will use recyclable materials. So that means depletion of natural resources will stop. And of course, by 2050, Amsterdam aims to have 100% circular economy. Here, one of the other notable initiatives is having an extensive waste separation at source. So this is one of the concepts that we should bear in mind. Waste separation at source. And they have reuse centers, and of course, circular procurement. Circular procurement means they prioritize products which are reused and recycled. Those who are having iPhone 16, do you know that is a recycled phone? 95% of the aluminum case of your iPhone 16, 95% is recycled. The lithium battery of your iPhone 16 is 85% recycled. 50% of the gold used in the chips is recycled. The back glass of your iPhone 16 is 50% recycled. Now, question is, would you have bought your iPhone 16 knowing that most of the materials were recycled? Actually, it's a perspective way. It's how people change their perspective. In Jarir bookstores, maybe you go to Jarir bookstores. I have seen gadgets, for example, the power banks. Some say it's 85% recycled. Then we have this Japan, recycled. Of course, this one is cheaper. But this one is Japan. Sometimes we have this prejudice. Which one would you buy? We have a recycled paper and a non-recycled paper, and it's newly manufactured. Which one are we going to buy? Are we comfortable with using recycled material, recycled products? Again, during the break, one of our guys were saying it's just a matter of changing the perspective of people and changing the behavior of people. It should not be the burden of the government alone, not by the government alone. Of course, there are ministries, they have other sectors, up to the citizen. So circular economy will become effective if implemented with the help of everybody, up to the citizen and the residents. Of course, in Sweden, they have 99% diverted to landfill. And they are It's an initiative for recycling and energy recovery. And they have advanced waste-to-energy plans. So we need to think about this in Saudi Arabia. Again, they have extensive recycling programs and, again, public campaigns. It goes back to the public awareness. Denmark, 50% recycling, and the rest is converted to energy. It's a good example, indeed. And there's mandatory sorting for households and businesses. That means it starts in the house, in the household, in the family. Before they throw their garbage, it should have been segregated. This will help in the waste segregation program. Of course, in businesses, for example, restaurants, why don't they segregate their food, their plastics, their papers? In hotels. So it starts with different sectors, with different entities, involvement of the public. Of course, Denmark without waste, and innovation is they're now using digital tools to track their waste, classification of waste, and of course, tracking the waste streams, where it goes, the plastic, the food waste, the packaging, where do they go? Germany has one of the highest in recycling rate, around 67%. And they have this green dot system. Those who have been to Germany, in packaging, you will see a green dot. It's just like a recycling icon, this recycling icon, it's colored green. So if you see that in packaging in Germany, that means the company who produced that product and has invested and paid for the recycling of the packaging. So it's a good program as well. That means the government is asking the producers. We go back to the EPR, or the extensive producer responsibility, as discussed earlier. This is part of the EPR system scheme. So in Germany, they are known for efficient packaging recycling. In Japan, let's go to the Kamikatsu. Kamikatsu is a prefecture in Japan. And this entails the extensive involvement of everyone. How? So they don't dispose their garbage as it is. They segregate them. They classify them. They have more than 45 waste categories. Just imagine that. Just for paper, they have 9 classifications in paper. So this Japanese in Kamikatsu would segregate papers according to classes. And what does that mean? They have been educated. Just like we were saying in malls, where recycling, not recyclable, non-recyclable food, that there should be at least an information there. And we should start with that. Okay, in Finland, it's a government-led transition to circular economy. They are promoting the repair culture. So we have heard the word recycle, reduce, reuse. Now we also have repair and refurbish. So producers after the end of life of product, producers are required to get them back and repair them, and then resell them again. So no waste at all. It's circular. Okay, in UAE, our neighbor, they have these goals and achievements so far. They have 75% solid waste diverted to landfills. It's an aim, actually, just like us. They also have the Emirates Waste-to-Energy Company, which is in charge of the WTE, just like CERC in Saudi Arabia. They have the Ministry of Climate Change and Environment launched a closed-loop recycling model for plastic bottles. They are also collaborating with international partners, which Saudi Arabia is trying to promote also, to involve local and international investors to participate in this program to make it effective and efficient. And of course, fostering partnership between the government, private sector, academic. Again, it's the synergy. Not only the government, private sectors, and all the other key players. In Bahrain, they have established waste separation systems and modern waste dams. We will discuss that. The country is also actively working on recycling programs, focusing on ways to generate electricity, and they have this green factory. So they are incentivizing factories to adopt sustainable production methods. And they have the iFactories where they measure the readiness of a factory to participate in the circular economy program. So all of these countries, we now extract what are the success factors. Number one, a strong policy and enforcement. We may have the policy, see, we have the national strategy, but other entities, other ministries should help. And enforcement, the word enforcement should not be set aside. If we have the policy, we have to translate into action plans, and they have to be enforced. It means they have to be monitored. They have to be monitored. Another one is about innovation, support for recycling technology. So, recycling technology at the upfront is expensive, but in the long term, it will help. It will reduce manufacturing, it will reduce the use of energy, and it will create jobs. So only at the upfront. We have to have a longer vision. We need to see the broader picture. Sometimes we are deterred, we just see the cost, but we need to see also the benefit. Reuse recycled markets, just as I was saying, will you be willing to buy a recycled product instead of a new one? So again, perspective. So it's already available in the Saudi market. We just need to advocate them. And smart bins, this is one of the technologies is being used now mainly in Europe. So you put trash there, and then it will classify the waste. Public engagement, again, I'd like to emphasize on this one. Of course, this is a very important element of success in the waste management, especially in the circular economy vision. So we need to do campaigns, educational campaigns, make people aware. We start in schools, and maybe even we start in the home. I've seen Saudi students when we eat in the malls, in the food court. After they eat, they gather what they have eaten from, and then they throw from the garbage. So that's a good mentality. Starts from the family, from the school, and we can start educating the public. Again, the waste sorting guidelines. Infrastructure, MRF. If waste are segregated at the source, we don't need MRF. But are we doing that? Not yet. We need MRF then. What is material recovery facility? Waste to energy. It's an effective tool there, and also technology. And we need to have reuse centers, invite people, highlight and display recycled materials, reuse products. Then let them that advocacy, that strong advocacy, personal advocacy. And okay, incentives, pay as you throw. It was in Europe, our friend Nicola was just telling us, every time a person throws a garbage, he pays. For example, how much the 35 per dollar for bottles, right? Yeah. So you want to pay when you throw out the garbage? Is that applicable to Saudi Arabia? Will the government adopt that? Because every time you throw garbage, you have to pay. So we have to ask that question, are we ready to do that? In some Asian countries, there's a weekly collection of garbage, but there's a fee for that. Every month, I think around 20 riyals they pay, just for the garbage truck to collect the garbage from them. So that's part of the polluter pays principle. Okay, deposit refund scheme. This is now being practiced here in Saudi Arabia. In Riyadh, it's initiated by CIRC. In Riyadh, people can deposit bottles, empty bottles in bins, and they get points. They can collect points. And those points, when enough, they can use it to purchase items from groceries. So it's called deposit refund scheme. See, it's now being initiated here in Saudi Arabia. And now procurement rules. We have to look into the products which has more longevity and which are also recycled. So again, it's just proper mindset. So in summary, some countries have good, efficient programs, systems, policies, but they're still lacking. Some regulations are outdated. So there's a need for a more robust policy. There should be a review again of what is being implemented now. And now we have to help the government also in implementing the policy. Again, it doesn't stay as a policy. They should be translated into a specific action plans. More work needs to be done. Again, I don't want to leave the word enforcement and compliance promotion. It's very important. Action plans, they need to be monitored. And finally, this is what we need actually. Government support, interministerial coordination. Who are these? Well, we have the government, we have MEWA, we have MOAN, we have municipalities, we have NCEC, we have MODON, we have MOH. These sectors should help each other. Waste streams are covered by separate ministries, not all under MOAN, not all under the National Waste Management Ministry. So, but for now, Saudi Arabia, we need stronger information base. So let us help the government gather information. Let us design a system where we could know where a waste stream goes. What is the quantity? What are the end of life options? So these are the recommendations. So hoping that we will be guided by these enablers, that we will be guided by all these examples in helping the government, Saudi government, implement a effective circular economy strategy. Thank you very much.
تستعد أمانة منطقة حائل لتدشين المردم الهندسي الجديد الذي يمتد على مساحة تتجاوز 1,300,000 متر مربع، ويعد أحد المشاريع البيئية الرائدة التي تهدف إلى رفع كفاءة إدارة النفايات وتقليل الأثر البيئي، تماشياً مع مستهدفات رؤية السعودية 2030 في تحقيق الاستدامة البيئية. ويستقبل المردم يومياً أكثر من 600,000 طن من النفايات المنزلية، إضافة إلى ما يزيد على 2,000 طن من المخلفات الإنشائية، حيث يتم معالجتها عبر منظومة ذكية متكاملة تسهم في تحويل ما نسبته 95% من هذه النفايات عن مسار الردم التقليدي. ويحتوي المشروع على محطات متخصصة لفرز النفايات وإنتاج السماد العضوي ومعالجة المخلفات الطبية، إلى جانب مرافق الإعادة لتدوير الإطارات، ما يعزز من كفاءة إدارة النفايات بأنواعها. ويتوقع أن يسهم المشروع في خفض الانبعاثات الكربونية بنحو 10 ملايين طن، وتوفير ما يزيد على 45 مليون جالون من الوقود سنوياً، بالإضافة إلى خلق أكثر من 300 فرصة عمل مباشرة وغير مباشرة لأبناء المنطقة. وأكدت الأمانة أن المشروع يمثل نقلة نوعية في مجال الاستدامة البيئية من خلال اعتماد حلول تقنية متطورة تسهم في الحد من الأثر البيئي وتحسين مستوى الخدمات، بما يعزز جودة الحياة في المنطقة. والآن نستأنف الدورة مع السيد آصف أحمد، فليتفضل.
Good morning. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, before I start with the approach for implementing circular economy, I would like to little bit give a brief about till now what we have started from the beginning session, like what Dr. Hazmi has been explaining about how the circular economy, the concept of the circular economy, how it can be implemented, okay? So, the circular economy concept is nothing just to convert the linear systematic way where we are just taking, consuming and making as a waste. Then we have to take this waste as in a process where we can reuse unless until we make at the end of its cycle. So this is the simple concept of circular economy. And with these things, we can go through a simple, like we have to explain before that what is the business model, how can we implement, which are the business model can be implement to process this waste into our continuous life cycle that can be maximize its value, and we can recover as much as possible so that we cannot throw the simple waste into the landfills. Now, the three things which we are focusing on, which is a reuse, one is repair and remanufacturing. So this is the strategy which can be implemented to develop a business model to implement a circular economy in solid waste management or in other waste management processing facility. So here you can see there are number of business model which is available globally. I have listed down few of them. One is as a product as a service. Product as a service is like is a model where you can retain its ownership. You have a product and you give them as a service, and you retain its ownership back to your who is owning that product. And in that way, the consumer can use it unless he needed it, and after that he can throw it. Sorry. Next, the second is remanufacturing. In this remanufacturing business model, you see in a linear business model, what happens is we take this material or resources, we convert into a product, and this product is consumed by the customers, or we can say the local peoples, and after that after consumption it goes to a waste. Now in each steps there are so many waste has been generated from its beginning, like from packaging, and then after this consumption there is also whatever the remaining is left is waste. Now this waste can be remanufactured in a better way so that it can be used again. It came back again to the cycle so that we can obtain the circular economy concept through this model. Now third, the closed loop recycling. As you can see, the closed loop recycling itself says whatever waste we generated, we again use it back to its own resources with the same product which we are using before. So this is the simple concept where we can use a plastic bottle as a PET bottle, and we reform it, and we just recycle it into its original form where it was. Then fourth one is the extended producer responsibility, where this concept is very actually important for the circular economy concept, because a producer is manufacturing product and just their responsibility to sell it until it consumes. But in this way, in this business model, the producer has a full responsibility until it comes back to him, and he again reproduce and again sell it to him. So in this way, the waste will be reduced. Sorry, this one. Yes. Now upcycling. Upcycling is another business model where you cannot, like you have generated waste, but you cannot remanufacture it as it same it was. But you can manufacture with something else that can be used in our day-to-day lives or in our other product sectors. Then other one is industrial symbiosis. Just as my colleague is saying, there is a synergy, and also there is a coordination between the stakeholders and everything. In this way, the industrial symbiosis is what? When a waste of an industry can be utilized by another industry. Similarly, it can goes around and around in a symbiosis way. This is the concept of industrial symbiosis. Okay, now approach. Till now, what I have explained is what are the number of business models that can be implemented in handling the waste management. Now, the main question, how? How can we do this? So, we have listed down a phase-wise approach. How can we implement in a phase-wise manner? The first one is a mapping and assessment. So, the mapping and assessment, you can see in the first phase, the important factor is to do an assessment at the city level, where you understand the inflows and the outflows of the material from its resources, from its generation, till its consumption, and till it's converted into waste. Then third is a tool of circular economy assessment. Once you know the material flow from where it is beginning and where it ends, we need to use a tool where you assess all this inflows and outflows, and where the circular economy can be implemented, but importantly with the help of a stakeholder engagement. Now, second phase is a strategic planning and design. As I discussed in the previous phase, once we get to know what are the inflows and the outflows of a waste and the products and resources, then we put a tool to how the circular economy can be designed and it can be implemented at which part of the product life cycle. Then we have to go in planning and design, where we need to prioritize where the actual focus area we need to put a circular economy concept. Then we will go for a circular solutions, and we find out where the exact circulation can be implemented, and it can be involved like implemented circular design principles as a product as a service models, which I have listed in, I have given before the 6 product as a service, or either you want to remanufacture, either you want to upcycle, or either you want to in a EPR responsibility. Then after that, you have to like set goals and targets, which is like, as Josephine also saying, that there will be some KPIs, which is already Saudi Arabia has been put forward 2040. That KPIs as a test set goals and a targets, which can consider as a our KPIs for this planning and design. And then the third part, once we go for the first and second phase and we know our KPIs and what we have to achieve, then the main important thing is implementations and the actions to be taken to implement. Now first, as Josephine also discussing about, from the policy and the regulation from government to the authorities, from there, after that then will be municipal bodies, after that there will be stakeholders. This policy and regulation will help them to achieve, to stay on the track of whatever the target and objective has been set for managing this municipal solid waste or other product life cycle waste. There will be a public procurement. Like you have to make a survey in this. Like if once there will be a demand, there will be also always there will be. Hello. Yeah. So this public procurement will be have a product and service involve prioritizing the purchase from like the owner, whoever consumer will have. They procure this documented, purchase these products made from recycled materials. Then the third will be infrastructure development. Once you understand this KPI to achieve, then you have to develop this infrastructure to make this recycle infrastructures. You have to also collaboration and partnership. Like some of the facilities will not have been available in your cities or available at your region. But you have to collaborate with other peoples and stakeholders so that you can treat this waste so that it can be achieved. After once you started implementing, then you have to do the monitoring and evaluation so that you can meet your target. Yeah. So this is a diagram where I want to explain that how each phase is interconnected to each other, so that you know, because some of the activities may go parallel. And there will be some interconnection and interdependability of activities. So once you have started to analyze in the city level assessment, you have to go some other activities simultaneously. Yes. I want to explain a little bit, a small example, like how Copenhagen municipality has implemented a circular economy inside their city by simply following the steps which I have explained before. So first of all, they have set up objectives to reduce the waste at the source level, and they have set out the target, what will be they do with this waste, and other things, what are the economic and targets can be achieved, so that they have a responsibility towards environment as well as society. So what principles they have been followed? First thing, they have recognizability. So they know what to do in the beginning, so they do focus on the sorting of the waste at the source level. Easy and logical. This is the second principle they adopted. Like everything, whatever they are trying to implement, it should be doable and achievable. The third principle, they're accessible. So accessible, how they are implemented? So they have educate those ground from the source level to each and everyone, so that they can separate the waste at the source stage. And fourth one was with the growth. The growth is they want to track and monitor from the beginning that whatever they are implementing is achievable, and after that they achieve their whole target, which I have mentioned in there. The 70% of the waste and light industrial and commercial waste is collected from for the recycling. And since I told you they have an objective to, they have responsible to towards better environment and their society, reduce 50 tons of CO2 reduction, and the waste using now these are the strategy they have adopted. First strategy what they have adopted is the source segregation, as I told. They have to make waste separations easy and accessible for the citizens, and they have implemented a multi-bin system at every doorstep so that, and educate those residents so that they can separate from by themselves. What it is result, and the 48% increasement in recycling rate. And they are targeting for 80% household waste by 2032. Strategy 2 is like advanced waste to energy. They are focusing on, like once they identified the waste and sorted at source level, they have implemented a model which is called waste to energy, which is using a state-of-the-art plant. It's called Amager Bake, which is in Copenhagen. Now they are processing 400,000 tons of the waste annually, and also supplies electricity. This supplies electricity to the households of the residents of the Copenhagen. Now it is 100% efficient, and it's a green, you can say green energy because it's a waste to energy plant. In this way, they are reducing the carbon dioxide also. Then third is the organic waste management, because they have an issue of turning food waste. Means there are so much food waste they have been generated every day. So they put a strategy how they can treat this organic waste and how it can be put in a model that will be economical to the entire municipality. So they collect the food waste and sent for anaerobic digestion facilities, which is a biogas amager. Then this biogas production is through a public transport or injected into natural gas grid. So in this way, they collect 90% of food waste, and they convert it into energy, and it is giving an economical benefit to the whole municipality. This is just an example of how a municipality can utilize their waste into a circular economy business model, and it is also giving them a benefit in three terms. The citizens are more responsible towards waste. The second, they are getting economic benefits. The third is as they are responsible for also environment, they take responsibility, and they are doing as much as there's a target of CO2 reduction. They are also contributing to the country. This is what the circular economy concept they have been implemented. This is just an example which I put for a municipality. Maybe in next session, and I will give you some technology and other solutions which can be implemented in maybe today and tomorrow sessions. Thank you.
للورشة التالية لفت انتباهنا في أمانة منطقة الحدود الشمالية طرح مميز في هذا السياق. نترك لهم المجال لاستعراض ملفهم الخاص ضمن هذا النهج، شاكرين لهم تفضلهم بالمشاركة معنا في هذه الورشة. يقدمها وكيل الأمين للخدمات بأمانة الحدود الشمالية الدكتور مهند الدخيل، فليتفضل.
هلا.
السلام عليكم، كيف حالكم؟ مساكم الله بالخير جميعا. شاكر ومقدر حضوركم وشاكر للزملاء في أمانة حاية لإتاحة هذه الفرصة لنا في تقديم ورقة العمل هذه اليوم، التي آمل بإذن الله أنها تكون بشكل أو بآخر مرتبطة بمحتوى الورشة هذا اليوم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نبدأ. طبعا احنا اليوم راح نتكلم بإذن الله عن تجربة أمانة الحدود الشمالية في تحويل جميع عقود النظافة طرفنا بإذن الله إلى عقود أداء. طبعا الأمانة الحمد لله أنهت هذا المسار. الآن حنا في منطقتنا جميع عقودنا تحولت إلى عقود أداء ولله الحمد. طبعا ما راح أطول عليكم في العرض، يعني في المقدمة هذه حنا كنا سوينا دراسة في البداية في الزملاء مع الوزارة لدراسة الفروق القائمة ما بين عقود الأداء وعقود الكميات. طبعا بحكم أن الجميع مختص، طبعا لا يخفى عليكم أن عقود الكميات تقوم على كميات محددة ما بينما عقود المؤشرات، عقود الأداء تقوم على المؤشرات الأداء KPI. طيب أهدافنا الاستراتيجية طبعا أكيد هي متوائمة مع المجلس الأعلى للشؤون الاقتصادية والتنمية، وبالتالي على درجة أقل مع الأهداف الاستراتيجية للوزارة. طبعا تعزيز الكفاءة التشغيلية، تحفيز المقاولين، الحوكمة، تحسين تجربة المستفيد ورفع الجودة. لما نجي هذا هو استراتيجية العمل اللي حنا اشتغلنا فيها ومشينا عليها. ركائزنا الأساسية طبعا معروفة، ركائزنا التشريعية والتنظيمية، أهدافنا اللي حددناها واللي كنا نبحث عن تحقيقها من خلال التحول إلى عقود الأداء، بالإضافة إلى وضع مؤشرات KPI، المؤشرات الرئيسية والمؤشرات الفرعية جميعا تم وضعها. طبعا هذه من أهم النقاط اللي مرينا فيها في رحلة تحولنا من عقود الكميات إلى عقود الأداء. واجهنا بعض التحديات الكثيرة، كان منها تحديات تشريعية، كان منها تحديات تنظيمية متعلقة بالوزارات الأخرى، مثل تحدياتنا اللي واجهناها مع وزارة الموارد البشرية، مع التحديات اللي واجهناها في موائمة العقود مع هيئة كفاءة الإنفاق، وكذلك مع هيئة المحتوى المحلي. ولكن بالتعاون الجميع، يعني كان في تعاون مشترك من الجميع، والحمد لله تم موائمة وتم تجاوز جميع هذه التحديات. إجراءاتنا أثناء التحول، طبعا بياناتنا الاسترشادية، تحدياتنا النقاش، تحدياتنا المالية في الاعتمادات المالية من وزارة المالية، خصوصا في البلديات التي كان لا يوجد لديها أي برامج للنظافة، ولكن ولله الحمد تم تجاوزها جميعا. طبعا هذه أهم شريحة موجودة اليوم معنا. ودنا نتكلم عن هذه الشريحة بإسهاب شوي، وكيف احنا نقدر نربطها بأهداف بمستهدفات ورشة العمل اليوم. هذه لما طرحت هذه العقود الستة، هذه العقود تمت جميعا ترجيتها بقيمة مالية بحدود 156 مليون ريال. احنا في الأمانة طبعا لما طرحت الآن صار قدامنا صورة واضحة، احنا الآن عندنا مبلغ، فحبينا احنا نعرف كم سيكون هذا المبلغ، وأننا طرحناها كعقود كميات. جبنا العقود السائدة، درسنا الأسعار السائدة والموجودة الآن. لاحظنا أنه بعد ما سوينا دراسة مقارنة في الأسعار، لقينا أن طرحنا أو توجهنا إلى هذا النحو تقريبا وفر علينا ما بين 40 إلى 50 مليون ريال في هذه العقود الستة فقط. طبعا احنا نتكلم عن أمانة الحدود الشمالية. أمانة الحدود الشمالية زي ما أنتم عارفين يعني هي تحظى بما تحظى فيه جميع الأمانات من رعاية، ولكن نحن لا نقارن أنفسنا في العقود في الأمانات الكبرى. هذا النهج لو طبق في الأمانات الكبرى حيتوفر عليه، حيترتب عليه وفرات مالية كبيرة جدا للوزارة في دورة العقود، إن كانت دورتها السنوية أو دورتها اللي هي كل 5 سنوات. طبعا ننظر أكثر، لو نظرنا إلى موضوع ورشتنا اليوم، إذا كنا نتكلم عن موائمة تطبيق الاقتصاد الدائري في إدارة النفايات وربطها بشروط محددة وواضحة مع عقود الأداء اللي في هذا التوجه، راح نتوقع أنه الوفر راح بإذن الله يكون أكبر. الوفر راح يكون أكبر، الفائدة البيئية راح تكون أكبر، راح تكون أعظم الفائدة للأمانات جميعا. طبعا ليه؟ لأنه زي ما أنتم عارفين حنا لما نتكلم عن الفرز، يعني ألف باء الاقتصاد الدائري في النفايات، لما نبدأ من الفرز يبدأ في هذه العقود، الفرز المبدئي، الفرز النهائي. فإذا رؤي أو أنه نوقش تطبيق مبادئ الاقتصاد الدائري ابتداء على عقود الأداء أو أي صيغة من العقود الهجينة أو شيء. لكن بما أنه هذا التوجه اللي موجود الآن، حنا نتوقع أنه الفائدة البيئية حتكون أعظم، نتوقع أنه بإذن الله الفائدة المالية والوفورات اللي حتوفر حتكون أكبر بكثير مما رأينا. هذا اليوم تجربتنا، جينا طبعا حنا سعيدين أن حنا نستعرضها قدامكم. الحمد لله رب العالمين انتهينا منها. أي ملاحظات أو أي الناس اللي أو من الزملاء اللي إلى الآن توهم بادين بهذا المواضيع، حنا جاهزين. حنا ترانا يعني خذوا منا من الآخر، يعني اجتزنا مع الهيئة مع كفاءة الإنفاق والمحتوى المحلي، فحنا جاهزين لتقديم نصيحة، نعطيكم الشبي على طول. شاكرين ومقدرين لكم حسن استماعكم طال عمركم، وشاكرين حضوركم وإتاحة هذه الفرصة لنا. شكرا جزيلا.
سي. أيوة.
Hello, try. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Josefina, are you listening to me? Is it okay? Is it okay? Is it okay? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Is it okay? Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Thanks. Okay. Yep. No, no need. Alone, yeah. I will sing along. Yeah, the pointer. I need a pointer. Yeah, okay, thanks. I switch off for the moment.
أعزائنا الحضور، نرجو منكم تكرما العودة إلى القاعة لاستئناف الورشة. نستأنف ورشة العمل مع السيد نيكولا مورون والسيد فيليبو تيرفسون.
All right, here you are. Now we want to speak about the different kind of processes in order to reuse the material. Before we were speaking about the possibility to collect the waste, to segregate the waste, in which way to do it. But after this segregation is happened, what we do with this material that is available to be reused. Then we want to show very, very quick a reel about the different kind of processes in which this material can be put in order to get out a new life. All right, just for instance, this is the process line for recuperating the gypsum, for example, from the panel board, from the gypsum panel board that are composing the ceiling, composing the drywall, the separation walls. And in this way, you can separate the paper that is, let's say, composing the panel board and also the gypsum in two different products. Very important is also the recycling for the marble mud and the powder of marble that can provide micronized carbonate, calcium carbonate, and can be reused in a different kind of sector. Biogas from landfill. Also, this one is something very, very important because we can be collected the gas, and after this, biogas can be used also for the generation of electrical supply. Landfill mining. The landfill is something that is providing a lot of waste material, but this waste material must be separated because, as we were discussing before, it's very important to segregate the different waste in order to give much more easier availability to reuse it. In this case, when the landfill is full of different materials that is not segregated, with this kind of machineries that are controlled in the weight, control in the different component, metal, paper, plastic. This process is available and capable to separate the different waste in order to collect plastic separated, metal separated, and paper separated. All right. This is another important part that is related to the electronic and electric components. The electronic and electric components usually are coming from the waste as computers or kitchen appliances, fridges, etc. And from this kind of separation, these kind of process lines permit to separate the copper, the silver, and also in certain way there is also gold that is inside these electronic components. Then all these precious material can be recuperated and separated in order to be reused. Wood recycling from the furniture, for instance, furnitures that are old, that are broken, and then usually are disposed in the landfill, can be collected and can be, let's say, treated in order to have back the wood, in order to provide pellets, and also the, we can say, the pedestal of the pallet for the packaging. This is a sort of gasification from the material recuperated by the landfill. This material, this waste, treated in this gasification process can produce exactly gas, and this gas will be providing new energy and electrical supply. STP. Every one of us, we know what is the STP, sewage treatment plant. The problem, the sewage treatment plant is the sludge of the sewage. Then the sludge, after that is accumulated, should be removed from the STP tank. And what happened to this sludge? With a particular kind of process, and tomorrow we'll explain better, with this particular kind of process, the sludge can be converted in fertilizer for agricultural use. In Italy, there is one patented process that is used in order to provide from the sludge the fertilizers. And the last, something very important, is how to convert the waste in aggregate for producing interlocks, for instance, for the pavement of the road or the walk side. And this is very, very useful in order to have a proper circular economy, in order to give a new life to the waste material. The mineral wool can be recuperated and can be, let's say, treated in order to have, at the end, one a very useful material for thermal insulation. Thermal insulation that can be applicable on the void of the wall in between the blockworks in order to stop the thermal heating, in order to provide thermal insulation. And at the end, the hydrogen. Hydrogen is very important in the last period. We are listening a lot about hydrogen, but hydrogen from which kind of process? From the recovery of the waste material. And recovering waste material and through electrolysis can be generated the hydrogen, and after the hydrogen can be used for automotive or for other kind of application, energy applications. Photovoltaic panels. Till a few years ago, we were speaking about solar panels, very important in order to produce clean electrical supply. But after 20 years, 25 years, these solar panels must be disposed because they are not anymore efficient. What we can do with this material? This material, through particular kind of process, must be separated. For instance, the metal part, the plastic part, the glass part, all these could be separated in order to get new reusable material. As for instance, aluminum, silicon, plastic materials, glass, and copper. Plastic, something that is very common to every one of us, to understand that from the plastic we can regenerate plastic. As before my colleague Asif was explaining, from the plastic bottle, there is a process in order to get the plastic pellets, and from these pellets we can obtain again a new plastic bottle. And this is something very important. Is also this one, as the first process lines that I was explaining, is collecting the plastic from the general landfill waste and separated the plastic. This plastic is, let's say, packed, and after the packaging will be sent to the chemical factory in order to reproduce the pellets, in order to get at the end new products in plastic. This is not for me. Thank you.
والآن فقرة الأسئلة مع الدكتور أحمد العازمي.
طبعا من الصباح جرعات كثيرة اوفر دوز في الواقع عن التقنيات، عن الامبلمنتيشنز السيركولر. انا اعتقد الان ودنا نسمع الاسئله والمداخلات، والهدف اكيد عند الحضور افكار جميله، عندهم اسئله جميله، توضيح لاشياء كثيره. السؤال بالعربي بالانجليزي، او خذ ورقه واكتب سؤالك، لكن ودنا نسمع لانه يعني اليوم دوز كثيره، جرعات كثيره تناولت العناصر السيركل ايكونومي، تناولت التقنيات، تناولت التطبيقات اللي ذكرها فيليب وعند نيكولا، تناولت ايضا كيفيه تطبيق السيركل ايكونومي. فالان ودنا نسمع مداخلات والاسئله سواء بالعربي او بالانجليزي، والسبيكر هنا موجودين. تفضل.
السلام عليكم. شكرا دكتور أحمد، وشكر موصول لكل من حضر وشارك. سؤالي فيما يخص، بحكم أن احنا الحين نركز على السيركل ايكونومي وكيف تعظيم الاستفادة من المواد، وهذا أحيانا يتطلب بعض الاعتمادات للمواد المعاد تدويرها لأنه هو جزء من الاستثمار إذا اعتمدت. ودي أفهم في القطاع الأوروبي أو التجارب العالمية إيش الإجراءات لاعتماد المواد المعاد تدويرها زي الأجريجيت ولا البلاستيك بحيث أنه يعني نقدر نستفيد من التجربة هذه وننقلها في السعودية. شكرا لك.
Nicola or Filippo, his question is very clear. In Europe, what is the requirement to utilize those recycled material?
Okay.
Does it need a permission from the government? Does it need a study?
Yeah, sure. The different entities, authorities, they define all the regulations, as we were speaking before, in order to force the collection of all the material and after to be reused in a different process that we were seeing just before. It's clear that there are incentives in order to get these results, but also there are private investors that are making intervention on that in order to realize this kind of possibility that is becoming a business for them, for the investor itself. Then it's something that is partially government and partially private. This is something very important because all the process lines that we were seeing before were related to something already realized in Italy and with the participation both of the government entities but also mainly the private investors. In this way you can reach this kind of target.
وأضيف أيضا إذا كان المواد المعالجة بتستخدم ما له علاقة بالأكل والغذاء فعادة نسوي ترخيص من الجهات اللي تعطي في ال FDA. يعني إذا كانت تستخدم مثلا برضاعة الأطفال كالسايكل أو بالبيبسي كولا أو بالكولا فيحتاج ناخذ ترخيص من ال FDA بعد ما نسوي. The question is a very good. Now in Europe that percentage can be used recycled. The question, how the people reach that percentage, and the second question is more important, how negatively or positively impact from economical point of view.
All right. Okay, this is a very good question. We can say that all this kind of process is starting from the citizens, we can say, because there are instructions for the collection of the waste, domestic waste, for instance. We are not speaking about industrial. Also, industrial waste is having strict prescription in order to be collected, separated, segregated, in order after to give a possibility to be treated simply without other separation. But, okay, this is a roadmap that is starting from abroad, from far, okay, in which the people are instructed, taught in which way to participate on this kind of result. It's not something that is coming by instruction, but it's something that is coming by habit. The population has to become habit to think in this way, because only this is the possibility to reach the circular economy, not only for the business of someone, the investors, but also for the good of the health and also in order to respect what are the natural resources.
تفضل questions.
Let me say something more that most probably before we skipped. The regulations are giving an identification of each kind of waste material.
Okay.
Only in this way you can understand when you are collecting the material, this material, how can be used, where has to be, let's say, sent in order to have this kind of regeneration. then there is a code for each waste material that is giving you the information from where it's coming, from industrial, from industrial process, or from domestic use, okay? And after, where this product can be reused. This code is very important because through also a form that each, we can say, entity that is involved on the regeneration of the material has to fill this form in order to give to the authorities, just to make the authorities aware that this waste is at the end going to that direction in order to get a different material without going again to the original natural resource.
Okay, thank you. Yes, please. تفضل.
شكرا لك دكتور على صراحة حسن إدارة هذه الجلسة النقاشية الحوارية بعد ما شاهدناه من هذه العروض الجيدة الجميلة جدا والتي أضافت لنا صراحة كثيرا في هذا المفهوم، وإن شاء الله أنها يعني تكون نواة لما هو قادم. سنرى نتائج ذلك في الميدان، ونعد أن حائل يعني تكون علامة فارقة في هذا المفهوم. إن سمحت لي بعيدا عن الجانب يعني المهني أو التقني فيما يخص مفهوم يعني الريسايكل، ما هو دور المجتمع المحلي اليوم في تعزيز وعيه بهذا المفهوم بحكم يعني التخصص هذا اليوم في القنوات الاتصالية وما إلى ذلك؟ المجتمع اليوم شريك تنمية أول، لن تتم يعني مثل هذه المشاريع دون رفع وعيه يعني هذا الرافد الهام جدا، بأننا اليوم ننتقل من العبء المالي إلى ما يعزز الملاءة المالية في مثل هذه الصناعات التحويلية. يعني المجتمع اليوم شريك في الدرجة الأولى بتقليل عدد يعني النفايات، وإن كان ولا بد من هذه النفايات هو شريك في فرزها بالدرجة الأولى ليكون محطة من هذه المحطات التي نعمل بها في هذا المفهوم يعني الرافد.
John, Josefino, can you make a comment?
Yeah, I can try to respond in 3 words. The 3 words is information, education, and regulations. These are the 3 words that can be, let's say, the magic in order to get this kind of result. Because if you are not informing, you are not creating the public awareness. Okay, this is the first. Second, you have to put, let's say, instruction how to do it. How you have to teach the population or the different authorities. And third, regulation, because only with the regulation you can define the roadmap, and you have to stay on the roadmap. Who is going out of this roadmap is paying for pollution, for instance. Then, as we were saying before, there will be some, let's say, credits for the people, for the entities that are following this kind of roadmap, and who is going out will pay. Then, okay.
John, can you highlight the community engagement?
Community
John,
engagement.
Can we hear from John, because he made a lot of community? Can you, John, add also? Josephine?
Yeah, Josephine.
Just speak about the community engagement.
Yes.
and add what Filippo mentioned.
Yes, actually, our gentleman was saying is very true. The circular economy can never be realized without the involvement of everybody. So it starts in the family. It starts with educating the children. It starts in the family. It starts educating the children how to reduce waste, how to segregate things. And the important thing is believing in the effect of circular economy to society, to public health, to the environment. So believing is the foundation of doing. So we need to believe something, and we need to do in return. So again, it starts with the family, and we can also utilize educational institutions for public awareness. We can also leverage social media. Well, everybody has a cell phone now, a mobile phone now. We have to use that. So maybe there will be awareness campaigns through, in Facebook or in other social media platforms. So in that way, we broaden the awareness of everybody. So again, it is correct. Everybody must be involved, not only the government, not only the ministries, not only the municipality, but other key players, NGOs, the society, every citizen.
بليز اسمك بالله مع الجهة.
يعطيك العافية دكتور وجميع الفريق. صراحة العروض كانت جميلة جدا وثرية بالمعلومات. الشيء اللي لفت انتباهي وجود يعني كبوليسي وريجوليشن مهم جدا بالموضوع هذا، وزي ما ركزوا عليه الزملاء. لكن سؤالي هو how to enforcement، في best practice how to enforce regulation policy على اساس ما نبيها محبوسة الدراجة على الورق يعني. فإذا في procedure best practice in Europe ممكن إنه كان يعني follow أو ممكن نستفيد منه في الموضوع هذا. شكرا.
Okay, regarding enforcement, okay. So yeah, so implementation. After implementation, we need enforcement. Now, who enforces it? We need to go to the sectors who are implementing the policy. For example, so segregation. Who's in charge of segregation? The municipality. Now, who will help them? Who will help them in the segregation activity? So we need data from the different sectors. Though actually, in European Union, as our colleagues were saying, it's actually the participation of each citizen in the enforcement. It's not. It should be part of the social obligation. Circular economy should be part of the social obligation, and that's the only, and that's one of the most important thing in an enforcement exercise.
Yes, I think first of all the authorities has to define some committees or task forces in order to design this kind of regulation roadmap. Only after that, all the information and the education can come on the scene in order to make the people aware, in order to educate the behavior of the people to follow this kind of direction. But first of all, the authorities, industrial, environmental impact, and also economical, must be collaborating together in order to find out this kind of way.
Actually, في الواقع عندنا الآن سياسات اعتمدت، يعني مثلا اللي جوزيفينو عرضها مثلا ب 2040 يكون 90% من المرادم قد كفلت. اثنين، عرض مجموعة من المؤشرات هي في صورة سياسات وتشريعات كاملة، سواء من انخفاض كمية النفايات المتولدة، سواء التدوير، سواء المعالجة. فأعتقد هناك عدد من المؤشرات، وهذه لم تأتي إلا نتيجة التشريع. بالنسبة للاقتصاد الدائري الآن يمكن المهندس أحمد يعرف أنه لا زال الاستراتيجية في مراحلها الأولى ديسكشن ونقاشات مع الجهات كلها، وكل الجهات أبدت يعني أفكارها فيها. فالتشريعات من الجانب النفايات موجودة وبعضها مبالغ فيها، بيني وبينك احنا نتكاشف، مبالغ فيها كثيرة، وبعضها جيدة، ولكن مع الوقت هذه التشريعات هي ستكون أيضا. لكن إنه نقطة مهمة ما زال في وجودكم. أنا أعتقد اليوم ما زال بوجود المهندس أحمد، شفنا السلايد اللي عرضها جوزيفينو. أنا أعتقد نأمل أنه تعقد ورشة كيف كبلديات وأمانات نحقق هذه المستهدفات. يجب أن يكون يوما ما عنوان هذه المستهدفات، مثلا والله 3% ريدكشن، ممتاز، اكسلنت. هاو؟ إذا ما عند البلديات والأمانات خطة عمل داخلية ما ممكن تتحقق المستهدفات. وسيأتي مؤشركم أحمر، وأنا أقولها من الآن، سيأتي مؤشركم أحمر، لأنه هي صعبة، ما أنها سهلة. لما تتكلم أنت الآن ريدكشن 10% ما تحتاج لها شغل. فأنا إذا لنا من اقتراح، وممكن بنحطه بالتوصيات بكرة، إنه هذه المستهدفات أو المؤشرات تتحول إلى خطة عمل تنفيذية قد تقودها الوزارة أو تقودها ورشة عمل عندكم أو اللي يكون. بهذه الطريقة تستطيعون تتجاوبون فيها. ما لم يكن هذه الخطة تنفيذية لا يمكن. أعطيك مثال، الآن يقول والله 2040 إنه المرادم قفت، ممتاز. قبل تكفيل المرادم لازم النفايات نفسها يكون قد راحت لمكان في التدوير، في الاستخدام، في البناء. يعني اللي يأتيك المردم نسب قليلة، يعني كم؟ بدل من 90 يأتيك 20 أو 30. 2، رفع المستوى الوعي الجماهيري اللي قالها جوزيفينو، هذا مهم فعلا. أنت الآن تحط 3 باسكت ألف باسين، إذا أنا كمواطن ما أعرف وين أضع المكان الصحيح ما استفدت شيء. فأعتقد أنه بعد هذه الورشة نعتقد أنه وزارة البيئة تأخذ الليد، أنه تقول يا جماعة الخير هذه مؤشراتنا وهذه مستهدفاتنا. الآن نبغى خطة تنفيذية كيف نحقق هذه المستهدفات. وأعتقد هذا واحد من النقاط المهمة التي نرى أن الأمانات تأخذ الليد فيها. هل بقي أسئلة أو شيء أو استفسارات؟ أي استفسار؟ any questions? anything؟ أنا أعتقد أن عليها ضغطة من تفضل يا مهندس أحمد، تفضل. Can you give him mic please to...
يعطيك العافية دكتور. ويمكن يعني الحديث لك يا دكتور وللمستمعين. احنا لماذا نفكر في الاقتصاد الدائري؟ انه احد الادوات الفاعلة كتعزيز التدوير، الاستبعاد من المرادم، ونفس الوقت يعني اشراك المجتمع. أوراق العمل اللي صارت اليوم واللي حتصير بكرة هو فقط لفهم هذا الاكسرسايز. وإحنا كقطاع بلدي ممثلة في الوزارة أو في الأمانات كيف نعزز هذا الاقتصاد. لأنه إذا إحنا عززنا الاقتصاد الدائري والمواد هذه يعاد تدويرها مرة وأخرى دون أن تؤول إلى المرادم، هو المكسب عندي أنه ما يروح للمرادم. فضروري جدا أنه يعني نأخذ هذا التوجه ونفهمه أكثر كيف نحوله في القطاع البلدي كممارسات على مستوى كل أمانة. وأتفق معك، قد يكون إحنا في الوزارة نضع مؤشرات على مستوى الأمانات كيف تم تبني وتطبيق وتأثير الاقتصاد الدائري على منظومة إدارة النفايات.
أعتقد المهندس أحمد قال كلمة الختام، وأعتقد فصلها. نتوقف عند هذا القدر. استمتعوا بجوكم. بكرة لنا عودة، الخبراء موجودين أثناء البريك، أثناء الأكل، التواصل. وأعتقد المهندس أحمد قد أخذ فصل الختام. شكرا لك.
ختاما، نشكر لكم حضوركم ومشاركتكم الثرية التي كان لها الأثر الكبير في نجاح هذا اليوم في هذه الورشة. نرحب بكم الآن لتناول وجبة الغداء والتي تم تجهيزها لكم بكل محبة وتقدير، ونلقاكم غدا بمشيئة الله في اليوم الثاني من الورشة لاستكمال ما بدأناه من عمل مشترك ومثمر. شكرا لكم وإلى لقاء قريب.